Hi, how are you going? Um, I just had a topic that I think sort of has been springing up quite a lot in a lot of the books that I've been reading and just stuff that I've been doing at the moment. I've obviously talked to you about Stolen Focus, a book by Johanna Hari, and talks about it in there. Also, this book from Katie Rose about trusting yourself. Um, And I think there's quite a bit in across all that, also about society at the moment that's going on. There's a lot of talk at the moment around Facebook and all of those other ones. Facebook is probably the one that's been targeted the most, just because it's the biggest. It's just how it happens to be. But there's a lot of negative press around it and around how society is being is using it, and also how it's interacting with everybody as well. And one of the topics that's really that I'm interested in is not so much how Facebook is being used and stuff like that, but and also I'm a little interested in their algorithms. But you hear different people, and in the end, as I sort of think as well, and it's for myself. Everybody does have a choice whether they continue to look at whatever Facebook or YouTube or whoever is promoting, and you do have a choice on that. And I'm not getting paid for anything to say that. It is really your choice to continue viewing or not to continue viewing, and it's also your choice to whether you believe something or whether you look for collaboration somewhere else at the same time. So that's just a personal sort of thing. But what I am interested in is sort of really sort of thinking about this idea that we need Facebook to give us some sort of sense of ourselves. And this really comes down to these likes or the ticks or the thumbs up or the hearts or whatever, these emojis that tell us that whatever we've posted or whoever we are is somebody out there likes that and stuff like that. And I sort of think back when I was before Facebook, because I was a generation that was before Facebook. We did have something similar then. It was our interaction with our fellow peers. And that's probably what Facebook has become. We are still interacting with our peers, and we are still getting that recognition from it. But I think Facebook has probably heightened it even more, because now we're getting recognition from people we don't even know, which can be great because we're getting recognition from those people that who don't know us as a whole. And we're also getting recognition for a small part of who we are. And it may be that we're trying to get recognition for that small part. I know myself, doing a YouTube channel, one of the things that I do look for is, do people like it? Do I get comments? And I did at the start really sort of think that was what it was about. But I've actually noticed that in more lately, what this channel is for is more about myself and having these comments about myself, and am I saying things that are actually getting to the true person who I am. So I'm actually finding that lately it's not so much about how much other people are interested in the site. It's about me making these videos for myself and really starting to understand who I am, and also seeing the journey that I'm on as well. How I've changed, how I've evolved. I know I've only been doing it for probably 6 months now, and you can sort of say, well, how much are you going to change in that? But I've also had quite a lot happen to me in those 6 months, and even prior to those 6 months as well. And I sort of found that initially I was on that sort of wagon of checking my emails or checking YouTube and seeing how many likes I got or how many people have viewed or stuff like that. And I'd still do that because I like to sort of see whether my videos have reached anybody. Is anybody actually listening? Does anybody actually find them interesting? But I've also now realized that actually part of this process is for me. It's been cathartic in some words. And for some reason, I like that word. I use that word quite a lot, especially when I'm talking about this, because it has been Talking about myself is not something that a lot of times I do. Or, and a lot of times when you talk about yourself, sometimes it goes down the road of boasting. You start to boast and you start to sort of like, oh, look at me and stuff like that. And I've found that these videos are not about look at me. They're sort of nearly the opposite. It's sort of like, look, my life has been shit at some stages. And some stages it's been good. And yes, I have turned some of it around, but sometimes it still goes back to where it was. And so these videos are sometimes about me, and I watch them myself, and maybe some of those views are more about me watching them than they are somewhere else. And I can really see my journey. I can sort of have a look at the things that I've made and the things that I've said, and see whether they really resonate still, and are they the things that I actually believe in and stuff like that, or am I deluding myself? And I think there is always something like that where you may be deluding yourself and sort of wondering about whether you are actually you're doing this for yourself, or you're doing it for, I don't know, likes and stuff like that. And I think the journey has changed for me, that it was initially about those likes and stuff, and now it's gone more down the path about being real and being myself and being a bit more authentic. So what I'm trying to get to here is, make sure that when you are talking about yourself online, talking about who you are and stuff, that it's not only, there is some stuff that you want to keep private. Absolutely, I wouldn't be putting my whole life online as well. I'm certainly not talked about everything that I've done. But make sure that when you look at that, you're not looking for the likes to make sure you're getting validation for yourself. Make sure that validation is already there from within you, and that you are sort of saying, yeah, actually, I'm good. I'm a good person, or I'm a broken person and I need to get help. And you're validating that. And maybe, you're saying things and you're reaching out, but make sure that you're sort of thinking about it in the right sort of way, that, what you're writing, what you're saying, you're listening to yourself and you're making a judgment call on that. You don't need to get external reassurance about things. Sometimes when it is something very personal, you need to make sure that you are listening to yourself. And I find that's actually been the key part of what I've been doing here with my videos. I'm starting to listen to myself and starting to understand who I am. And that's had a roll-on effect to the conversations that I'm having with friends and with family about who I am and what my thoughts are. And that's been a really big win from these videos. Not that I've been getting likes, but that I'm starting to understand myself. So don't look for those external hits. Make sure that you're getting your hits from yourself first, and that you're being true to yourself. You'll get a lot more from that first than you will from anybody else that's out there. So be real, be yourself, be private, but also make sure that you are as much as you need to be, and you always will be. All right, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon.